On the agenda tonight, we're going back to 1966. We're going to be taking a look at Dean Martin and Caterina Valente, and they're going to be performing the one-note samba. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So, this video is a short one. It's just over 3 minutes, but it is going to be a little bit different to the other videos that I've done because there is an intro where they're talking to each other. There's also a bit of that towards the end of the song, but I think it is important to watch the whole video because that does set the scene. It also shows you the rapport between the two and also the dynamic between them. It is really interesting, as well as the borderline flirting from Dean that's going on as well. But let's get these two up on screen and see how they get on.
Caterina. Oh, boy. You were just sensational.
Thank you very much, Dean. Hey, I didn't know you played the guitar.
I don't.
You don't?
But you do.
I do.
Would you play something?
I'd love to. One condition.
What?
You sing with me?
I can do that. What do you have in mind?
Well, how about a bossa nova?
Bossa
Nova.
Nova?
Bossa nova. It's easy.
It is easy?
Oh, it is very easy.
It is easy for me?
It is easy for you.
What do I do here? It's nice and easy?
Yes, you only sing one note.
What note I sing? You want some chewing gum, Yanni?
E flat.
E flat?
E flat.
All right, lay
Like
it on
that?
me here.
Ba,
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 ba.
ma,
ba.
ma.
I got it. All right.
It's easy.
It's easy.
I will tell you when to start.
You tell me when to start and
Yes.
you give me the note.
I give you the note.
All right. Let me get out here so they can see you.
Ready? You got your note?
No, but I'm ready.
Try it again.
All right.
All right, now. Wait a minute.
Yes.
I tell you.
Yes.
Now. Ba, existe sambinha feito numa nota só. Ba, outras notas vão entrar, mas a base é uma só. Ba, esta outra consequência de o que acabo de dizer. Ba, como se a consequência inevitável é de você. That's enough. Quanta gente tem por aí que fala tanto, não diz nada, ou quase nada. Já meu inteligente e toda a escala no final não sobrou nada. Não deu nada. Ba, e volto pra minha nota, como volto pra você. Ba, vou cantar com minha nota, como eu gosto de você. Ba, e quer todas as notas, e mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, ba. Fica sempre sem nenhuma, fique numa nota só. Rhythm. You got it, you did it. It was beautiful.
Was it nice?
Yeah.
What did I do?
You sang ba.
Ba.
Great.
That's-
Ready for the big finish?
Oh, you can
Yeah.
bet your sweet cheeks. Come on. I'll do that. Okay, is this all right?
Wow, 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 wow. Wow. Doobie doobie doo.
Miss Caterina Valente.
And there we have it. So much going on in this video from every perspective, but performance-wise, Caterina, the way that she plays everything so subconsciously, it is second nature to her to go through all of these chord changes. I will get the guitar out in a second just to show you the chords, or at least a few of them that she's going through, but also the fact that it's not just strumming a D chord and an A chord. We've got some unique voicings going on here, also bar chords. As soon as you start to apply bar chords on classical guitar, it is just upping the level in order to keep that clean and to make every single note ring out. Obviously, with those low 3 strings on the top 3, it's nylon strings, so they're going to be okay or easier to fret. But those lower 3, stopping those buzzing is so important, especially in a stripped back performance like this. I know that the band does join in, but that's another thing, is that the rhythm is all started by Caterina with her playing and getting that groove and just the whole feel of the piece. She's got that in her fingerstyle as well. When's the last time you saw 2 people on TV that were this comfortable in each other's presence? And it just puts you at ease as a viewer, and it is just compelling viewing to watch them talk and the interaction between them. The other thing is that the interaction that's going on here, the light-hearted element, the entertainment side of it is only possible because of Caterina's ability on the fretboard. Because if she had to look at the fretboard and concentrate on it, you would lose everything that is so interesting about this as a performance and as a video. Another thing to mention is that Caterina speaks 6 languages and has sung in 11 languages, so the pronunciation of her name as well could be Caterina, Caterina. I'm trying to say it officially, or at least testing my accent to its limits, but also Valente. She's Italian, so that's the vibe that I'm going for with it. This performance is one of those that really does set the scene for what you could see on TV in the 60s and the 70s, but also the amount of technical ability that was included that would fly under the radar. People wouldn't notice it because of the entertainment side of things, and this is such a great example of it. There are so many videos that I've looked at, performers, entertainers from this era and slightly later, who had great technical ability on their instruments, but also being able to sing. And Caterina's a great example of that, being able to sing and play at the same time, but also have that comedic element to the interaction with Dean. And she doesn't miss a beat throughout this whole performance. She's also never looking at that fretboard, and it is obvious that she's so comfortable with these chord changes. She knows exactly where she's going, and the only time that she does have to look at the guitar is when Dean shouts out and jumps off the seat, and it kind of puts her off a little bit, but she is still in position, has a little look, and then she's fine. And the only other time is when she's on the 3rd fret and has a big shift to a B7th, I think it is, on the 7th fret, and she just wants to make sure that she gets up there and nails that chord position. But everything is so relaxed, so comfortable. So just quickly to show you what she's playing on the fretboard and the way that she sets up this groove with her C minor 7th is where we're starting. And we've got this little jump from our root note to the rest of the chord, and just for reference, I'm playing the root note with my thumb, and then the D string with my 1st finger, and the G string with my 2nd finger, and we get this full chord to start with, and then we get the chord, root, chord, like that. And the other thing to mention is about the chord shapes that she's playing. They might look more complicated than they are. Because we're playing fingerstyle and we're not strumming all of the strings, it means that we can just take the notes that we want from the chord. So rather than having to play this full C minor 7th shape like that, we can just take the notes we need from that chord. So getting into the next chord, we're going to just descend with our root note a semitone, and that happens 2 more times after this chord. It's just a semitone rundown. And now here, again, it might look a little bit more complicated than it is, because all that's happening is we're playing a B7th. And that's our full bar chord version of it, but we're just taking the notes that we want for our fingerstyle formation and sequence that we're going through with the right hand. So far, we've got... And at this point, we have a shift down. Important thing to mention here is that on our right hand, the 3rd finger is now playing the B string, so we get a slightly fuller sound to the chord. And and we're playing a B flat, what would be minor 7th, but you can hear that there's an 11th in there, and this is why there's a stretch down with the first finger that you'll see from Caterina, and playing the rest of the chord with that 11th we get that sound. Just quickly as well, if you don't know what an 11th is, if you play through your minor scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That is the 11th note. And that is the note that we're going to try and get into our chord. We can also find it there. So it means that when we're playing our chord, you can hear this first finger in there, and that's where the 11th is. When we then move to the next chord, we keep the first finger where it is and just shift down with the second finger and the third finger, and we get that sound. And with that second chord, you'd again use all 3 fingers on that right hand, and then we go back to the beginning. An important thing to mention there is that when Caterina goes back to go through it again, she then converts back to just the thumb, first finger and second finger, because if we play the third finger in there, you can hear how that B string is really taking a lot of the focus, whereas we want it to be more in the background. So after that, we go through, descend again, and then we have this minor 7th bar chord. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but these voicings and that part there, when she is playing through that, it is so subconscious, but there is so much going on, moving from the low E string to the A, and then shifting position to then our final chord. So we've got 3 chords there, all actually different, because the second finger is supplying the root, and on the last chord, the right hand shifts down a string. So it means all 3 fingers now have been moved. And if you do play fingerstyle guitar, you'll know that when you're just stuck in a position and you can go through your sequences, it's a lot easier than having to move down strings and up strings. Whereas this is what she's doing. You're not going to notice this maybe unless you play guitar, but hopefully just by pointing out some of these things, you start to get a bit of an appreciation of what is going on in the background while she's just laughing and joking with Dean during the whole performance. There is so much technical ability here. In the 60s, she appeared alongside other big stars at the time, including Bing Crosby and Louis Armstrong as well. Those videos are on YouTube somewhere, so you can check out more of Caterina if you want to. She had a huge hit with The Breeze and I, that sold over 1 million copies, as well as having success with Malagueña, and she was also a favourite of Perry Como as well as Dean Martin. It is such a unique one because of the interaction between the two on screen and the way that there is this dynamic of almost Dean being a school kid and then Caterina being the teacher, so that if he ever gets too close to that line, she makes sure that he takes a step back. But thank you guys so much for suggesting this video for me to take a look at, and keep those suggestions coming in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think, and if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!